Imagine that you could have the most enjoyable business. What would that look like? Is it when you've already got a full roster of clients with a waiting list and you're doing just the work that you most love and all of the unpleasant tasks you've outsourced? Well, maybe. Maybe that could be an end result. But I'll tell you, being in business for 16 years, that kind of end result well, it takes a long time, number one, to get there. But secondly, even once you get there, so called, you'll still have a lot of problems that you need to deal with in your business. You still need to solve technical challenges or people challenges or strategy challenges or whatever it may be. Things won't always go smoothly the way you expect. So, my strategy for getting to the most enjoyable business is just to have it now. Why wait until the future when somehow success, you've reached success? Why can't you enjoy every day in your business now? Well, George, it's because I do things I don't like doing. Well, have you thought of how you might be able to change that? What if you could change your relationship to all of the tasks in your business so that you can actually enjoy every task? That is my hope for me, for you, for everybody. Because then success happens every single day rather than in some far off future vision. And every day, if you enjoy every task, guess what? You'll more likely stay consistent with doing it. And being consistent with doing it and doing it with more positive energy, you'll actually probably more likely succeed anyway. So let me offer you a simple formula for how to enjoy any task, every task in your business. Ready? It comes from the field of deliberate practice. If you've never heard of this, it was popularized by Anders Ericsson, who studied top performers like musicians and noticed that the ones who were really good weren't just practicing. They were practicing a lot, of course, but the way they were practicing, violinists particularly, the way they were practicing wasn't just, all right, let me play the entire piece, and then, oh, I make a bunch of mistakes. Let me play the entire piece over again. What they did was they took one segment of the piece they were playing, and they kept practicing it correctly. And, it's like 2 second segment, da 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 da. They kept practicing that segment again and again and again until they got it right, and then they moved on to the next segment. Practice again and again and again until they got it right, and they moved on to the next segment, and etc. And I thought, why couldn't we do that in our business for the purpose of practicing joy in everything that we do? So, for example, let's say that you feel anxiety, intimidation when you think about making videos. Let's say making videos, you turn on the camera and you freeze up and you feel performance anxiety, and you don't enjoy the process. Well, how could you practice enjoying the process? So, step one, let's break down what actually happens when you make a video, for example. You turn on the camera, you press publish, and then you press play, record, and then you start speaking, and then you feel anxiety. Okay, all right. What if you practice? Okay, that's the steps are: turn on the camera. Step two is press record. Step three is start speaking, and step four is to feel anxiety and performance pressures and whatnot. Okay, so let's practice. So that's step one, is to break down the task. Step two is to design a different practice, to say, instead of turning on the camera, pressing record, and then speaking and then feeling anxiety, what if you first take a moment and imagine your ideal viewer, somebody who is so eager and willing to learn from you that nothing you can say is wrong in their eyes, something like that, the imaginary ideal viewer, right? So you spend 20 seconds doing that, and then you press record, and then as you speak only to that person, you know, and then you feel the sense of connection, something like that. And you like design this little practice that can be done in like 1 minute. You do a little bit of an energy reboot, You press record, you speak, you feel the connection, and that's just a 1-minute practice. And then step 3 is you do that 1-minute practice at least 3 times, 5 times, 7 times if you can. And then by the end of the 3, 5, 7 times of practice, you've developed muscle memory for approaching this task of making a video with more joy. And so imagine doing that for any other activity. Let's say you're anxious about doing your bookkeeping. Okay, well then you break down your bookkeeping task. The beginning of your bookkeeping is what? You sit down in the computer, you open up your bookkeeping, you feel anxious and you feel like it's such a tedious task. You're practicing negative emotions when you do that. So instead, you say, well, what if I open my bookkeeping software and before I do that, I do a little bit of energy reboot, reminding myself of how lucky I am to have a business and how these numbers tell a story. And I'm get curious about those numbers, and I get curious about how I can practice focus and practice joy in doing these things. And you spend a minute doing that, and then you start your bookkeeping. So that's a 1-minute practice, and you do that 3, 5, 7 times. The next time you approach your bookkeeping, suddenly you have a different muscle memory of how to emotionally approach the thing. Imagine if you did that with almost every activity in your business, then your entire day can be one of joyful productivity. I hope this is inspiring for you. I hope this gives you some ideas. I look forward to seeing if you want to try it and how it works for you. Thanks for joining me.